Hey everyone! Welcome back to Human Health Heaven. Today we're diving into the fascinating world of human voice anatomy. Ever wondered what goes on behind the scenes to produce those beautiful sounds we call voices? Well, buckle up, because we're about to explore the key anatomical structures in the respiratory, phonatory, and resonatory systems. But before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on our exciting content. Now, let's jump right in. The human voice is produced through a complex process involving various anatomical structures in the respiratory, phonatory, and resonatory systems. Here's a brief overview of the key components involved in human voice anatomy. Respiratory system. Lungs. The process of voice production begins with the lungs, where air is inhaled and exhaled. The diaphragm, a muscle at the base of the lungs, plays a crucial role in controlling the airflow. Absolutely, the role of the lungs in voice production is fundamental. Let's delve a bit deeper into this aspect. Lungs and diaphragm. The lungs are the primary respiratory organs responsible for the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide during breathing. The diaphragm, a large, dome-shaped muscle at the base of the lungs, plays a critical role in the breathing process. During inhalation, the diaphragm contracts and moves downward, creating a vacuum in the chest cavity. This action allows air to rush into the lungs. During exhalation, the diaphragm relaxes and moves upward, helping to expel air from the lungs. Role in voice production. Voice production begins with the initiation of airflow from the lungs. The diaphragm's control over airflow is crucial for generating sufficient subglottal pressure, the pressure beneath the vocal folds in the larynx. Adequate subglottal pressure is necessary for the vocal folds to vibrate effectively and produce sound during phonation. Controlling the exhalation process through the diaphragm allows for varied loudness and duration of sounds produced during speech or singing. Breath support. Proper breath support involves using the diaphragm to control the flow of air for sustained phonation. Singers, actors, and public speakers often focus on developing good breath support to enhance the quality, projection, and endurance of their voice. Breath support is crucial for maintaining a steady, controlled flow of air to the vocal folds, which, in turn, contributes to a clear and well-supported voice. In summary, the lungs and diaphragm are foundational components of the respiratory system, playing a vital role in initiating the airflow necessary for voice production. Developing and maintaining good breath support is essential for achieving optimal vocal control and quality. Phonatory system. Larynx, voice box. The larynx is a cartilaginous structure located in the neck, consisting of several cartilages, muscles, and ligaments. It houses the vocal folds, vocal cords, which are essential for voice production. Composed of several cartilages, muscles, and ligaments, the larynx is responsible for various functions, including voice production, protection of the airway during swallowing, and regulation of airflow during breathing. Key components of the larynx. Cartilages. Thyroid cartilage, the largest cartilage of the larynx, it forms the prominent Adam's apple in the front of the neck. Cricoid cartilage, a ring-shaped cartilage that sits just below the thyroid cartilage and provides structural support. Arytenoid cartilages, paired cartilages that play a crucial role in the movement and positioning of the vocal folds. Epiglottis, a flap-like cartilage that covers the glottis, the opening between the vocal folds, during swallowing, preventing food and liquids from entering the airway. Intrinsic muscles, located within the larynx, these muscles control the movements and tension of the vocal folds, influencing pitch and quality of the voice. Extrinsic muscles, external to the larynx, these muscles help control the overall position and movement of the larynx. Vocal cords. The vocal folds are a pair of muscular structures within the larynx that are crucial for voice production. They are composed of layers of tissue, including muscle and a cover of mucous membrane. When air passes through the larynx, the vocal folds vibrate, producing sound. The rate and pattern of vibration, along with the tension of the vocal folds, determine the pitch of the voice. The glottis is the opening between the vocal folds. It regulates the airflow and vibration of the vocal folds during speech or singing. The larynx is often referred to as the voice box because of its central role in voice production. It acts as a sophisticated biological instrument, coordinating the movements of various structures to produce the wide range of sounds used in speech and singing. Understanding the anatomy and function of the larynx is crucial for those studying voice production, speech pathology, and related fields. Resonatory system. Pharynx. The pharynx is a muscular tube connecting the nasal and oral cavities to the larynx. It serves as a resonating chamber for sound. The pharynx is a muscular tube that connects the nasal and oral cavities to the larynx, voice box, and the esophagus, food pipe. It is a crucial part of both the respiratory and digestive systems, serving as a common pathway for air and food. The pharynx can be divided into three sections: the nasopharynx, connecting to the nasal cavity, oropharynx, connecting to the oral cavity, and laryngopharynx, connecting to the larynx. Role in voice production. Resonating chamber. The pharynx acts as a resonating chamber for sound produced by the vocal folds in the larynx. As sound waves pass through the pharynx, its shape and dimensions can be modified to influence the quality and timbre of the voice. Articulation. The pharynx plays a role in articulation, which involves the shaping of sounds into recognizable speech. Movements of the pharyngeal muscles contribute to the formation of certain speech sounds. Swallowing. Beyond its role in voice production, the pharynx is essential for the process of swallowing. It helps propel food and liquids from the mouth to the esophagus during the swallowing reflex. Airway protection. The pharynx contributes to the protection of the airway during swallowing. The epiglottis, a flap-like structure in the pharynx, covers the glottis, the opening between the vocal folds, to prevent food and liquids from entering the trachea. Muscles of the pharynx. The pharynx is surrounded by a complex network of muscles that enable its various functions. Contraction and relaxation of these muscles control the movements of the pharyngeal walls, influencing the passage of air, food, and the production of sound. Understanding the anatomy and function of the pharynx is crucial for speech-language pathologists, singers, actors, and anyone interested in voice and speech production. The pharynx's dual role in both the respiratory and digestive systems highlights its importance in the overall coordination of breathing, voice production, and swallowing. Oral and nasal cavities. The oral cavity, mouth, and nasal cavity contribute to the resonance of the voice. Different speech sounds may be produced with variations in the shape and size of these cavities. The oral cavity is the space inside the mouth, enclosed by the lips, cheeks, hard and soft palates, and the tongue. It plays a crucial role in shaping speech sounds and influencing the resonance of the voice. Different speech sounds are produced by altering the shape and size of the oral cavity. Functions of the oral cavity in voice production. Articulation. The oral cavity is a primary site for articulation, the process of shaping speech sounds. Movements of the tongue, lips, and palate within the oral cavity contribute to the formation of specific speech sounds. Resonance. The oral cavity acts as a resonating chamber for the voice. When sound waves from the larynx pass through the oral cavity, they can be modified based on the shape and size of the cavity. The resonant characteristics of the oral cavity contribute to the unique timbre or quality of an individual's voice. Vowel formation. Vowel sounds are particularly influenced by the shape of the oral cavity. Different vowel sounds are produced by altering the position of the tongue, lips, and jaw within the oral cavity. Nasal cavity. The nasal cavity is located above the oral cavity and is separated by the nasal septum. It plays a role in both breathing and speech production. Functions of the nasal cavity in voice production. Nasal resonance. The nasal cavity can contribute to the resonance of the voice. Some sounds may be produced with nasal resonance, particularly in certain speech sounds and languages. Nasal consonants. The nasal cavity is involved in the production of nasal consonants, where sound is allowed to pass through the nasal passages. Examples include the gm and gna sounds. Interplay between oral and nasal cavities. The velum or soft palate is a muscular structure at the back of the roof of the mouth. It can be raised or lowered to control the passage of air and sound between the oral and nasal cavities. During speech, the velum typically rests against the back of the throat, directing air through the oral cavity. However, for nasal sounds, the velum is lowered, allowing air to pass through the nasal cavity. In summary, both the oral and nasal cavities contribute significantly to voice production. The oral cavity is crucial for articulation and shaping speech sounds, while the nasal cavity can influence resonance and is involved in the production of specific sounds. The coordination between these cavities, along with other components of the vocal tract, contributes to the richness and diversity of human speech. Sinuses. The paranasal sinuses also contribute to voice resonance by affecting the quality and timbre of the sound. The paranasal sinuses are air-filled spaces located within the bones of the skull surrounding the nasal cavity. The major sinuses include the frontal, maxillary, ethmoid, and sphenoid sinuses. Functions of sinuses in voice production. Resonance. The sinuses contribute to voice resonance by acting as additional resonating chambers. When sound waves generated in the larynx travel through the vocal tract, they can resonate within the sinuses, influencing the overall quality and timbre of the voice. Sound amplification. The sinuses can amplify certain frequencies of sound, potentially enhancing the richness and complexity of the voice. Nasal resonance. The sinuses are connected to the nasal cavity, and their configuration can affect nasal resonance. Changes in the size and shape of the sinuses may impact the way sound waves interact with the nasal passages. Interplay with nasal cavity. The sinuses are connected to the nasal cavity through small openings. The interaction between the nasal cavity and sinuses can influence the passage of air and sound during speech. Temperature and humidity regulation. The sinuses help regulate the temperature and humidity of the air we breathe. This function is essential for maintaining the health and function of the respiratory system. Variations in sinus anatomy. Individuals may have variations in the size and structure of their sinuses. These anatomical differences can contribute to the unique qualities of each person's voice. While the exact role of the sinuses in voice production is complex and not fully understood, they are considered part of the overall resonating system of the vocal tract. The interaction between the sinuses, nasal cavity, oral cavity, and other structures contributes to the distinctive characteristics of an individual's voice. It's important to note that research on this topic is ongoing, and our understanding of the specific contributions of the sinuses to voice production may evolve over time. Articulatory system. Tongue, lips, and palate. Movements of the tongue, lips, and palate help shape the produced sound into recognizable speech sounds. Articulation is crucial for forming words and communicating effectively. Absolutely, the tongue, lips, and palate play vital roles in the process of articulation, which is essential for forming recognizable speech sounds and effective communication. Let's delve into the functions of each of these articulators. The tongue is a muscular organ located in the oral cavity, and it is highly flexible. Functions. Articulation. The tongue's movements are crucial for shaping speech sounds. It can move up, down, forward, backward, and sideways to create a wide range of sounds. Vowel formation. The position of the tongue influences the production of vowel sounds. Different vowels are produced by changing the tongue's height, frontness, and rounding. Consonant formation. The tongue is involved in forming many consonant sounds, and its contact with various parts of the oral cavity affects the nature of these sounds. The lips are movable structures surrounding the opening of the oral cavity. Bilabial sounds. Closing or parting the lips is crucial for producing sounds like p, d, dem, and w. Labiodental sounds. The lower lip can interact with the upper front teeth to produce sounds like f and v. Expression. Lip movements contribute to facial expressions and nonverbal communication. The palate refers to the roof of the mouth and can be divided into the hard palate, front, and soft palate, back. Alveolar ridge. The bony ridge just behind the upper front teeth is known as the alveolar ridge. It is involved in the production of sounds like t, d, den, des, and a z. Velum soft palate. The soft palate can be raised or lowered. When raised, it closes off the nasal cavity, directing airflow through the oral cavity for non-nasal sounds. When lowered, it allows airflow through the nasal cavity, contributing to nasal sounds. Palatal sounds. The tongue and palate interaction is crucial for producing palatal sounds like sh, dch, dj, and a zh. Articulation and communication. Articulation involves the precise coordination of tongue, lip, and palate movements to create distinct speech sounds. Different languages may have varying articulatory requirements, leading to the diversity of speech sounds across languages. Effective articulation is crucial for clear and intelligible communication. Speech disorders affecting articulation can impact the ability to convey messages clearly. Understanding the functions and interactions of the tongue, lips, and palate is essential for speech-language pathologists, linguists, and individuals working to improve their communication skills. The intricate coordination of these articulators allows for the vast array of sounds used in human language. Understanding the anatomy of the human voice is essential for singers, speech therapists, and anyone interested in vocal health. Proper care of the vocal apparatus, including avoiding strain and maintaining overall respiratory health, is important for preserving a healthy and functional voice. And there you have it, folks. A glimpse into the incredible world of human voice anatomy. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about the science behind our voices, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the bell icon to stay updated on all our upcoming videos. If you have any questions or suggestions for future topics, drop them in the comments below. Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep using that amazing voice of yours.
See you in the next video.